Hi there, I'm Leandra from PaperArtsy. On this video I'm going to show you how to stamp into Grunge Paste. So as you probably already know, Grunge Paste is a texture product. It's quite smooth and creamy and it's very fast drying. So for this one I want to show you how you can stamp into it really easily. Now you don't need very much product on the surface. But the cool thing about stamping into this is if you don't like it, you can repeat and try over and over again until you get it how you prefer. So I just like to get a bit of texture on here all around the edges because I never really know exactly where I'm going to stamp. So, and I love how just by applying it with a palette knife you get all kinds of interesting textures happen anyway. Right, that's pretty cool. So you can't just take your stamp and press it straight into the Grunge Paste because all the product will stick into the stamp. So you want to give it a light spritz first with water, and water acts sort of as a release agent. Don't put loads and loads on there because then you'll get a big soppy sort of mess on your tag. So sort of just work that water into the stamp and then you just press it directly into the Grunge Paste and lift off and you'll get nice texture effect there. If you've got way too much product, you'll know straight away because when you lift it off, it will sort of leave big squelchy looking marks on there which aren't too flash. So just smooth it over, thin it out a little bit and then repeat. Right, I'm just amazed how this is a really fine detail stamp and you get really fine detail impressions into the texture paste, and it's quite interesting to just test it out and see what it looks like on thinner areas compared to thicker areas. Okay, so I hope you can see that texture. And I'm just going to I dry that with a heat gun, but you can set it aside to dry on its own if you prefer. You can see it's kind of already starting to dry up in some areas where it goes a little bit matte. But here's one that I've done earlier. So what might we do with this? Well, the easiest thing is to apply some paint on top. So let's just grab a bit of paint and a paintbrush. I'm going to use chocolate pudding and my paintbrush. So I'm just going to get a little bit of water so that I can work the paint down into the texture. This is chocolate pudding, pretty standard sort of brown colour. Just working it all over the tag, and by wetting it with a bit of water it helps that paint just sort of get down into the grooves of the texture paste. A really easy thing to do is to just take a baby wipe and kind of knock it back a bit and you'll get, just rub it off lightly, you'll get a really cool distressed effect, which is a pretty easy technique, but also it's leaving some of the darker paint in the dippy bits of the texture paste, and that really highlights the texture so you can see what we've achieved with the Grunge Paste. Now you could repeat that with another colour of paint, so say we go to French Roast, which is just a little bit darker, and pick up a bit of that, and let's just start to pull this into the wet tag, perhaps around the edges a bit. And if you wanted to just create something completely different, go to a contrasting colour like a red or something, and or something really warm, and you'll create a whole different effect, even blue. And you see, sort of put it on and just knock it back a little bit. Okay, so the last step for me on that would be to dry it off and perhaps put a little bit of treasure gold on there if you wanted some metallic accents around the edges. But that is quite an easy background tag.